think we're ready to get started. So good morning, everyone. On behalf of Heritage Hills High School and Middle School, I am honored to welcome all our guests, students, and community members to our Veterans Day program. On this Veterans Day, we gather to pay tribute to the brave men and women who have served our country, defending the freedoms we cherish. Today, we have a special program prepared to recognize the sacrifices made by our veterans. We will hear some inspiring words, enjoy performances, and take a moment to reflect on the impact of their service. Thank you for joining us in this important celebration. Together, let's honor those who have worn the uniform and ensure their legacy lives on in our hearts and minds. At this time, I would like to ask everyone to rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Good morning, students, faculty, distinguished guests, and most importantly, our honored veterans. When we ask, why do we celebrate Veterans Day? The immediate and truthful answer is, of course, to honor those who have served our country. But today, I ask you to look deeper, to consider the profound and often overlooked commitment that underpins this national commemoration. Veterans Day compels us to move past a simple acknowledgement of service and truly appreciate the unquantifiable sacrifice made by the men and women before us. Think for a moment. Many of our veterans enlisted or were drafted straight out of their adolescence, exchanging the typical trajectory of early adulthood, college, career development, and establishing a home for immediate, intense, and often unimaginable risk. Can we truly comprehend the gravity of their choice? They faced deployment to perilous theaters of conflict, knowing there was a very real possibility of never returning home. They endured the heartache of saying goodbye to their mothers and fathers, unsure if that moment would be the last. Bearing this personal cost in mind makes it impossible to view their contribution as anything less than extraordinary. They secured not only American liberty, but global stability. We celebrate Veterans Day, fundamentally, to express unwavering gratitude. This may seem obvious, but history shows us that gratitude is not automatic. We must remember moments in our nation's past, particularly the Vietnam era, when service was, disgracefully, met with indifference or even hostility. That experience is a solemn reminder. Regardless of our political views on conflict, individuals still volunteer and endure hardship to secure the freedoms we exercise every single day. We must continue to uphold veterans as a solemn commitment to ensure that the service and sacrifices of our veterans are never ever taken lightly or forgotten by any generation. We owe them that respect. Finally, we commemorate our veterans because their service extends beyond our borders. They act as much more than a fighting force. They are ambassadors of American goodwill, providing humanitarian aid and spreading the principles of democracy in countries struggling under oppression. Their efforts contribute to a greater global good, demonstrating a commitment to justice that transcends national self-interest. To our veterans, we celebrate Veterans Day to show our enduring gratitude, to remember your sacrifices, and to recognize the mark you have left on the world. You are more than veterans. You are the champion of liberty, and your legacy demands our perpetual respect. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to introduce each of our veterans that have joined us today. As I read your name and branch of service, I encourage you to stand if you would like to. Larry Betts, Army National Guard. Keith Kroll, Army. Charles Olivery, Army. David Boland, Army. Randy Rising, Army. Adam Rising, Navy. Dan Connor, Coast Guard. Herb Schulte, Army National Guard. Jim Fuller, Navy. Stephen Kretzing, Army. Alan Howard, Army. Dan Bell, Army. Dick Moore, Navy Seabee. Jack Tropp, U.S. Air Force. Leroy Breitwieser, Army. Adam Anderson, Coast Guard. Jan Boyd, Marine Corps. Pat Ewing, Navy. Ken Hildenbrand, Army National Guard. Lewis Kern, Army Reserve. Joseph Martin, Army National Guard. Israel Martinez, Army. Ruth Martinez, Army. Lee Phillips, Army. Dave Fritz, Army. Chuck Hancock, United States Air Force. Taylor Ford, Army. Mackenzie O'Neill, Army. John J. Kern, Army National Guard. Chelsea Freeman, Air Force. Sam Ritchie, Navy Seabee. Heather Pate, Navy. Anthony Costello, U.S. Navy. Penny Wessel, Army. Rosemarie Corambo, U.S. Army. Jim Clee, U.S. Marine Corps. Larry Harris, Army. Sergeant Major Christopher Gumby, Army. Sergeant Major Laura Gumby, Army. Sarah Hanke, Army. Timothy Judd, Marines. Tristan Coleman, Army. Raymond R. Robbins, U.S. Navy. Ned Wilson, Air Force. Joe Rapay, Army. Pat Goebel, Army. Lauren Deutsch, U.S. Air Force. Michael Gallion, Army. Julie Davis, Army. Amanda Bickford, Indiana Army National Guard. Steve Davis, U.S. Army. Clarence Betts, National Guard. Richard Bedley, U.S. Navy. Nathan Allen, Army National Guard. Ryan Boots, Marines. Todd Wilkerson, Navy. Tim Thompson, Army. And Mitch Markwell, Army National Guard.
The United States Army.
Americans all across the United States take a moment to offer our thanks and appreciation to the veterans. Bob Dylan once said that a hero is someone who understands the responsibility that comes with his freedom. Veterans Day is a day for Americans to say thank you to our nation's heroes. It is my privilege and pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this morning. Ryan Fuchs is a proud graduate of Heritage Hills High School, class of 2009. Shortly after his graduation, he answered the call to serve his country by enlisting in the United States Marine Corps. He reported to recruit training at Parris Island, South Carolina in October of 2009, and graduated on January 15, 2010. Following basic training, Corporal Fuchs attended infantry training at Camp Geiger, North Carolina, and then continued his education at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, where he completed his military occupational specialty as a motor transport operator, MOS 3531. During his 4 years of service, Corporal Fuchs was stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina. In October of 2010, he deployed to Camp Leatherneck in the Helmand Province of Afghanistan with Combat Logistics Battalion 2. Following this deployment, he received specialized training as a vehicle recovery operator, MOS 3536. In August 2012, Corporal Fuchs deployed again, this time to Camp Dwyer, a small satellite base in Afghanistan, where his platoon of just 45 Marines was the only Marine unit on site. Their mission was to assist in the teardown of other forward operating bases and to provide logistical support to units operating throughout the region. On November 10 of 2012, while conducting a mission, Corporal Fuchs' vehicle was struck by an improvised explosive device. Fortunately, he sustained only minor injuries. He continued his service with dedication and professionalism, earning the rank of Corporal E4 before completing his enlistment honorably in October 2013. Today, Corporal Fuchs continues to make a difference in his community. He serves as the head coach of the Heritage Hills girls wrestling team and has been involved in the Patriot Wrestling Club for 10 years, serving as its head coach for the past 30. In addition, he works as a teaching assistant here at Heritage Hills High School. Corporal Fuchs has been married to his wife, Brittany, for nearly 16 years. Together, they have 3 children: Bronson, age 14, Jacob, age 10, and Veronica, age 3. Will you please give a warm Patriot welcome and thank you to Mr. Ryan Fuchs.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Fuchs, and I had the privilege of serving 4 years of active duty in the United States Marine Corps. When I joined, I was like a lot of you, just trying to figure out what I was going to do and where I fit in the world. What I didn't realize then was that the journey I was about to take would teach me lessons that went far beyond the military. Lessons about life, purpose, and becoming a better person. When I first joined the Marines, my purpose seemed simple: to serve and challenge myself. But as time went on, I learned that purpose isn't something you find, it's something you build. It's built in the way you show up every day, in the effort you give, and in how you treat the people around you. In the Marines, I discovered that purpose grows when you stop asking, what do I get out of this, and start asking, what can I give? That mindset, giving more than you take, can completely change your life, no matter your path. The Marine Corps taught me 3 core values: honor, courage, and commitment. Outside the military, those values still matter, in classrooms, friendships, and family. Honor means doing the right thing, even when no one's around to see it. Courage isn't about being fearless, it's about moving forward, even when you are afraid. Commitment is showing up when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, and no one's cheering for you. Every time I was pushed to my limit, I learned a little bit more about myself and even more about who I wanted to become. There were days I was exhausted, uncertain, and far from home. But those moments, the tough ones, taught me something simple and powerful. You don't find strength when things are easy. You find it when things are hard. Whether it's school, sports, family, or something personal, those struggles shape you. Don't run from them, face them. because every time you become stronger, wiser, and more confident in what you're capable of. When I left the Marines, I carried one belief that still guides me today. No matter where you start, you have the power to become someone better tomorrow than you are today. You don't need a uniform to serve your community or to make a difference. You can serve by being kind, you can serve by working hard, you can serve by helping others, or by chasing your goals with everything you've got. The world needs people who care, people who lead by example, people who bring out the best in others. So as you move forward, whether you know your path or still figuring it out, remember this: you already have everything inside of you to build a life of purpose, integrity, and hope. All you have to do is take that first step and never stop becoming better. Thank you.
During the Civil War in July 1862, while the Army of the Potomac was encamped, General Daniel Butterfield composed a bugle call and ordered its adoption as taps within his brigade. He could scarcely have anticipated the enduring significance it would assume, nor the solemn purpose for which it would become synonymous. Today, whenever a service member is laid to rest with military honors anywhere in the United States, the ceremony culminates with the firing of 3 volleys over the grave, followed by the mournful strains of the bugle sounding, "Put out the lights, go to sleep." Its echoes linger in the heart long after its tones have ceased to reverberate through the air. While Veterans Day primarily honors America's living veterans and is traditionally observed as a celebration rather than a solemn remembrance, it remains ever fitting to pause in reverence for those who make the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. With this in mind, I invite you to rise for the playing of taps and to remain standing for a moment of silence.
opportunity to show our appreciation and gratitude towards our veterans and their families that have joined us in sacrifice as well. Students and staff, please stand and give a round of applause for these brave men and women.